So the first thing that I would do is check my gain levels. Everything is where it needs to be. I'm looking for my channels to be right there where the green meets the yellow, kind of going a couple bars into the yellow. And it looks like all of my channels are right there. So that's great. Don't need to make any gain adjustments. But if I did, like say a channel was too low, we would just select that channel and adjust the gain to get it right there where the green meets the yellow. If you're not using the X32 and you don't have this handy meter screen, you can just go channel by channel. You can see that I have a level meter for each channel. I could just kind of look through here and make sure everybody's hitting that orange light. You could also go channel by channel, select the channel, and head to the config screen, and it shows you right here what's going on with gain. So all my gain levels are good. So the next thing that I would do is apply a low cut filter on every channel. I kind of make this joke in my courses that if I could only take two things with me from my mixer and I was stranded on an island, I would take gain and low cut filter, because with those two things, you can create a pretty great mix. But what we're listening for is we want to clear up all that mud that's down there that we don't really want from the vocal, but we don't want it to sound too thin. So I'm going to go channel by channel and make those adjustments.
Your name is love, and break it. Shout Jesus from the mountains, and Jesus in the streets.
So the next thing that we need to focus on is compression. You can hear some of the vocals jumping in and out of the mix, the guitars jumping in and out of the mix, and that's just because there's too much dynamic range on all of these, and it would be exaggerated if we were playing this in a large auditorium. So let's start by fixing that. We're gonna do vocal compression first, because that's gonna make the biggest difference. Vocals really have the widest range of dynamics, and so we need to kind of narrow that down so it's more controlled in the mix. And I actually have a compression cheat sheet that has starting point settings for everything. We got kick, snare, toms, vocals, and bass guitar. So I'm going to start with this on my vocals. So let me just go ahead and turn my compressor on. And then we'll just start with these settings here. I got a ratio of 3, attack of 10 milliseconds, hold of 0, and let's see, release of 50 milliseconds. And then we got a gain of 6 dB. And the reason we're adding 6 dB of gain here on the compressor is because we're going to reduce the signal down by 6 dB. I'm using the threshold here in a bit. I'm going to show you how to do that. So this is just a great starting point for vocal compression. You see a very fast attack time, very fast release time, because vocals are just, so dynamic. So you don't want the compression coming on too late. I mean, there's nothing really at the front of a vocal that you want to be louder than the rest of the vocal. And then you also want it to release quickly. So let's see what this sounds like with this first vocal, and then we'll do the same thing on the other vocals.
Shout Jesus from the mountains.
All right, so what we're going to do is we're going to dial in our threshold until we see this gain reduction meter constantly hitting about -6 dB. That's just slight compression, because if you compress more than that, you're going to notice the vocal start to lose its life and lose its shine. So I wouldn't compress more than 6 dB. I mean, it's okay if they belt it out and it goes to -9 dB, but on average, we want to be hitting that -6 mark.
Shout Jesus from the mountains, and Jesus in the streets. Jesus in the darkness over every enemy. Jesus for my family, I speak the holy name, Jesus.
So now let's go through and apply some simple EQ to each of the channels. We already applied our low cut filter, but I also like to go channel by channel and just kind of listen to see if there's any big thing in it that I don't like, and then cut that out. EQ is all about what can I have less of. Some people like to go to EQ to kind of get more out of something. So let your main thought be, what can I cut out of this to make it sound better? So as we go channel by channel, that's what I'm going to be listening for. So let's start with vocal 1 here, and we'll turn on the equalizer. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to set a peaking filter at about, +9 dB or so. And then I'm going to sweep through here and listen to see if there's anything in here that I don't like. And if I find something, I'm going to cut it out. So I'll show you how to do that.
Shout Jesus from the mountains, and Jesus in the streets. Jesus in the darkness over every enemy. Jesus for my family, I speak the holy name, Jesus.
So I cut out a part of her vocal that was just kind of sounded a little bit honky. I don't know how else to describe it. Maybe that's not a good word, but it needed more clarity. And you probably noticed as I pulled that out, a lot of clarity came to her vocal. One other thing that I like to do on vocals is add a high shelving filter at about 10 kilohertz. We're going to boost about 6 dB. This just adds some shine to the vocal, some sparkle. I don't know what else to call it. Just kind of gives it a little something extra. Take a listen.
Shout Jesus from the mountains and Jesus in the streets. Jesus.
All right, it's sounding really good. All that's left is to add reverb. So what I'm going to start with is adding in my favorite presets to the X32. I like to have one reverb for vocals, a vocal plate reverb, and then a vocal hall reverb, and then a drum reverb. So let's get those dialed in. We are going to go to effects here, effects 1, head to our library. So in this first one, we're going to load a vocal plate, and then we're going to head to the second one, and we're going to add a big concert, which is a hall reverb. All right, so now let's get those dialed in. And how we do it on the X32 is we hit sends on fader, head to our bus. Now bus 14 is going to control the plate, 14 will be the hall, and then 15 will be the drums. So let's go ahead and just listen to this and add it in.
Shout Jesus from the mountains and Jesus in the streets. Jesus in the darkness over every I speak the holy name, Jesus. Sing your name.
So on that plate reverb, I like to put most of it on the lead vocal and then add a little bit to the background vocals. And the whole goal is you turn it up until you can hear it and bring it down until it blends in. Reverb's one of those things that you want to notice if it's missing, but not necessarily notice that it's there unless that's what you're going for. And just to clarify, the way that I'm mixing this reverb in is I hit sends on fader and I'm selecting bus 13, which controls the reverb, and I'm turning up everything that I want to have that reverb. Now I'm going to move on to the next reverb, which is the hall reverb, and do the same thing. And for this one, for me, it's going to be the reverse. I'm going to put less on my lead vocal than I do on my background vocals. So let's take a look at what this sounds like.
Shout Jesus from the mountains and Jesus in the streets. Jesus
All right, I'm happy with how that turned out. So the last thing I want to show you is an A and B. I want to show you what it sounded like before we made all these changes and then what it sounds like after.